Making a bold statement today. I'm officially declaring that spring is here.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to create like a plant theatre on the front doorstep.
So maybe it's unfair to keep calling them Fleabag.
There are dahlia tubers, which look really healthy and huge, my goodness. The snow has gone. Can't say that the temperatures are that much warmer, honestly, but at least we've got sunshine, which is really gorgeous. This afternoon, I think it's going to start raining. So what I want to do is I want to check on the tulips, hyacinths, and I don't know if there's some daffodils in those pots as well, that we put into the cold frame just before the snow came last week. But it is really lovely. It feels so fresh and snowy. We did get a couple of things that got damaged in the snow, but all in all, we're kind of recovering fairly well. There's random bits of eucalyptus tree that have been blown off. So let's go see what's in the cold frame. Wow, we have got some serious growth. We've even got things in bloom. So they are ready to come out, so we can take them out, and I think we'll put them in their positions. Look at the hyacinths, so gorgeous. Look at these blue ones. Then we've got some tulips. So we can take all of these out and then we'll try and arrange them because they will be fairly cold hardy now. Basically, you don't want them to have a hard frost on them now, so you don't want them to get really kind of icicles on them. That would be not good news. But the positions that we're going to put them in, they're going to be protected areas, so they won't be susceptible to that. So I think we can take them out and enjoy them. So put all the pots here so that we can see what we're dealing with. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create like a plant theatre on the front doorstep in our porch area. It basically just means you're gathering up a whole bunch of pots at different sizes, different levels, so you can put them together and basically kind of get a really nice display of flowers kind of in an area concentrated. That's what we're going to do. We're going to transfer them to the front doorstep now and basically just kind of play around with the pots and move them around and see if we can get something really pretty going.
From glorious sunshine into snow hail in the space of about 10 minutes. Kirsten's decided that she wants her theatre to be super dramatic. So she's got some bricks now. She's going to build up a little side portion here. It'll basically allow us to put more of the pots down the sides. I've got to say, it could look pretty cool. I can't get over this weather. Well, I think your spring bulb theatre of tulip bulbs is looking good in your terracotta army of pots.
Yeah, I have to say, we didn't think that we were going to do this. These were supposed to go out the back, but I actually kind of wanted to just try something different this year, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks really gorgeous. I really think the blue hyacinths against the orange brick look really, really lovely. But I have to say, I mean, Dutch grown is they're just such a good supplier. I mean, the fact that nearly every single bulb always comes out. I mean, last year we had such good success with them, and again this year, you know, they've all come out, barring I think a couple which got nibbled by somebody before it even had a chance to get going, but it still tried to come out. And, over the years we have ordered bulbs from other suppliers and put them in the ground and literally silence, nothing happens. I seem to have a lot of either good luck or just good success with Dutch grown, so I think we'll stick with them. We're all out here, apart from Olive, who has decided to go back in because she came outside and went, it's freezing. But Leopold's out here. He's actually just walked into the shed, so I think he might be making himself nice and comfortable in there. And we are going to be getting on with some chainsawing. We need to clear the wood off the driveway.
So what we'll be chainsawing is all the wood pieces that are basically too big to run through the shredder. So sometimes they're a bit of an awkward size, they're a bit of an overkill for a chainsaw, but you know, just one of those things where the loppers can't get through it, so the chainsaw's the tool for the job. So we're going to process that. The log store has still got a couple of gaps left on it, so hopefully we'll be able to fill all of those. And then that's the log store fully replenished for the summer and winter ahead. So one of the first things when I started first chainsawing is I didn't realize just how much maintenance the actual chain on the saw required. So after we posted one of our first videos, this is going back about 3 years ago, people pointed out to me that when you've actually got a lot of sawdust, really fine sawdust, that means that the actual chain is not sharp enough. So now I spend a lot of time actually sharpening the saw, and as a consequence, this is the kind of shavings that you want. So they're a bit chunky, and that actually shows that the chain is sharp and it has been maintained properly. That's the first batch done. Kirsten's just unloading the trolley. It's beginning to try to rain again, which is so frustrating because you try and get stuck into these jobs and the rain comes down.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's trying to sleet or rain or drizzle, but yeah, it's not too pleasant. So
no.
At least you got one bucket done, that's good.
Yeah, big one. So this morning I've come out to finish the chainsawing, and the whole morning I've been accompanied by Fleabag. Initially he came out because he was hungry. He really has become so trusting, and he has absolutely no problems in coming up to us and saying, hang on, guys, it's time for breakfast. I think we might have to rename him too, because we named him Fleabag last year because he was looking a bit scraggly and he was losing feathers. But he's looking a lot better and a lot healthier this year, and his plumage has all come back nicely. So maybe it's unfair to keep calling him Fleabag, so maybe a name change is in order. I've just spent the morning walking around the garden. I'm making a bold statement today. I'm officially declaring that spring is here. For us, it's always a positive sign when the foliage on the plum tree starts to come out. And in this wild area behind us, all the daffodils that we've planted over the course of the autumn, they're all coming out, and they're probably all at about kind of 5 to 6 centimeters high. When we get growth spurts like that, that means that spring is certainly around the corner. So fingers crossed that the worst of the weather is now behind us. I've also got a surprise for Kirsten today, which I think she's going to be really pleased about. She's just working in the studio at the moment, so I'm going to take that through to her and see what she thinks. I've just realized that I obviously can't carry the box and the camera at the same time. So I'm just going to leave the camera with Kirsten in the studio. You've just had a delivery, so if that's okay, I'm just going to leave the camera here.
What is it?
Surprise.
Oh, what is this?
Special delivery from Dutch Grown.
Wow.
Summer bulbs.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was wondering when they were going to come. I'll do it out here so we can really see it in the light and hope it doesn't rain on us. There are some big clouds. So we've collaborated with Dutch Grown a few times in the past, and we've always been really pleased with the quality of the bulbs that they send out. So the ones that we've just put out on the front doorstep, the plant theatre that we've just done, those are spring flowers are coming up there, tulips, hyacinths, and some daffodils, maybe a few daffodils in those pots, and that's all from Dutch Grown. And we had our tulips and all of those kind of flowers from Dutch Grown last year, and we had a beautiful display on the table here in all the pots at the back. So I'm really excited to see those. And Dutch Grown reached out to us at the end of last year and said that they were launching this spring bulb collection, which is basically your collection of bulbs that flower in the summer. So it's everything, for example, like lilies, dahlias, begonias, gladioli, elephant ears, oriental lilies, and peonies. And so this is really exciting because this is just a selection of things that they sent us. So I'm not really sure what's in here, but I'm very excited because it looks pretty jam-packed. There are dahlia tubers, which look really healthy and huge. My goodness, given that most of the time when you order from other companies, you get a dahlia tuber, it's literally one tuber. This is like a good handful of tubers. I think that's iris. Then there's calla lilies. God, the size of these bulbs are fantastic. Daylily, and that's already, we need to get that into a pot soon because that's already sprouting. Hostas, love hostas. Aquilegia, peonies, look at the size of those. Fantastic, they look so healthy as well. Gladioli and astilbe, so I think that's how you say it. Pronunciation aside, that is a fantastic selection. So we're definitely gonna, I think we have run out of soil. I think that bag has only got a tiny amount left in it. So, and I'm just about to use it up. So I think what we'll do is we'll just go out this weekend and get some more soil so that next week we can really plant these up, because now is the perfect time to get them planted up. It's very exciting.
There's been very little movement on my seedlings so far. Unfortunately, the temperatures have been quite low. I've actually put a thermometer in here now, and the temperatures are struggling to get above 13 degrees. So hopefully over the course of the next week, now that the temperatures are going to start rising, we can start getting up to 18, 19 degrees, because that will definitely stimulate the germination of the seeds. The only thing that has come out is the broccoli. As for our plantage experiment, still no movement in any of those pots. But fingers crossed that we start getting some of the sprouts popping their heads out over the course of the next couple of weeks.
That was good. Productive morning. Oh, the sun's coming out. How lovely is that? It's sunbathe.
It's been a productive week though, and I'm really looking forward to the weather changing. I'm ready to get out now. And I'm ready to start working on the vegetable beds. It's just been so frustrating to not be able to just get out and do it.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of even extra now tidying up to do after the snow, because there are now certain things that have either been snapped or broken under the weight of the snow. There's like things that have been ice burnt, so there's a lot of brown leaves. So there's even more work to do than we had a couple of weeks ago. So I am really itching to go out and start cleaning up now, but it's just still so wet, isn't it?
We just need the sun to come out now and just dry out some of the actual soil. Working in the vegetable garden is obviously fine because we've got the paths.
Yeah.
And I really want to start direct seeding, but we've still got time. I mean, that's the luxury that we've still got, because we've still got a couple of weeks before certainly my jobs should start to happen.
Yeah, and we also need to start not only cleaning up, but also start our lawn care. We're going to certainly have our first cut, aren't we, of the lawn in kind of maybe in the next couple of weeks, do you reckon, by the end of March?
Yeah, it was really funny. I was reading an article the other day. Apparently March 18th, which is remarkably specific, people in the UK cut their lawns.
Really?
Why March the 18th, I have no idea. We typically start cutting our lawn in about April.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the time that we're going to do it.
But it's so kind of frustrating, because you go onto Insta and you like see everybody else so much further ahead, because obviously especially if they're in the south, they're a few more weeks ahead. Typically I've kind of noticed that if you're in deep south, kind of like East Sussex and Brighton and that kind of area, you're typically about 4 weeks ahead of us. It's kind of like, you see people on Insta kind of like mowing their lawns or, enjoying their tulips and their daffodils and stuff. And we're kind of like, I'm like, oh no, come on. So you're almost kind of wishing the time away, but it is really lovely. I mean, when the sun comes out, it is a totally different experience. It's beautiful. Yeah, so fingers crossed spring is going to be here next week.
Well, I've called it, Kirsten. Spring is here.
Spring is here, whether it likes it or not. Spring is here. Yeah, when the sun comes out, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, you can't knock it.
The cats are enjoying it outside, and we even saw our first spring lambs. There were 2 lambs that came down from the field. So I think that next week's vlog there'll be a lot more things like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
lovely springy things to look forward to.
So I hope that you've all had a good weekend and that you have a good week ahead.
Yep, and we will see you in the next vlog. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.